We're going to present a series of living your best life and how it works and how you do it one step, one day, 1 minute at a time. And we're going to start it out with the word courage, which means courage is the ability to do something we fear. So I take that as hesitating, stepping back. I don't really realize that it's not using courage, but I do know that I have a little stop in me that puts, like, should I say it? Would you say it? Could you say it? Who's going to accept it? So it's a confusing message within us that stops us, I think.
Yes, and it can be as small or as big as you want. I mean, even having the courage to, say something, that's a small area, but really a big area.
I think it's all the same, really.
Do
it's
you?
It's
but
like a
people
soup.
don't relate it, though, to, like, the courage to speak your mind, right? Even though you need courage to speak your mind.
But for that, even, it's big, and then it just seems like this vegetable
But, like,
soup.
courage to jump off a bungee would seem like more courage to me. Do you know what I mean? But it's really, like, the same. And you know what I mean? Like, jumping off a bridge to me on a bungee cord would be like, I would need a ton of courage to do that.
Okay,
But making it relatable.
I did parasailing, and that didn't scare me at all.
Something about the water, though, I can do. But, like, jumping off a bridge or, like, a roller coaster, I don't know. The water seems like a safety net to me, though.
Oh, okay. So we all kind of find our way, because I went for a helicopter ride, and I wasn't afraid of that either.
Yeah, I would be afraid of that. So.
And on two small
But I don't
pilot.
I never equated to, like, speaking my truth. I need just as much courage as I would to jump off a bridge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So you don't really, I don't think we equate that. I don't think people recognize that.
I don't think we equate using courage at all.
Yeah.
Really.
That's part of it too.
That is part of it.
Yeah.
That's not
that's
a
what we're
word
trying
in
to.
our, we say the armed forces guys go in the army and they have to have a lot of courage to do that.
Yes.
We look at it outside.
Outside ourselves.
Outside, yeah, never thinking it takes courage to be a mom.
Right.
Never thinking it takes courage to get up every day and go to work and punch in and deal with people and do the right thing. And there's just so much wrapped around that I feel like we do a 1-2, 1-2.
Step forward, step back, just keep checking in.
We keep dancing around what's next instead of allowing the being of just do it. It's okay. And it is courage. You're using it now in little bits and pieces, and it's working. We're asking you today to consider enlarging it for your desires and dreams.
Right.
So that's the difference, too.
That is the difference. Yeah. Very interesting how it plays out, right? Because it's, to do something you fear and just being able to look at that and be like, okay, I need 3 seconds of courage, right? 3, 2, 1, go. Even having the courage to, like, speak up to a friend and be like, oh no, I'm not available,
Right.
It's still, you still have a fear, like, will they like me? Will they judge me? Will they this? Will they that?
Well, and you can mix it up with saying, I just made a decision that was wrong, which is condemnation, or I'm in indecision, which is correcting yourself. And both of those might be true, but the point we're trying to bring is courage helps you face that fear about the indecision, don't you think?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to get to the next step.
Yeah. Yeah, because the indecision plays a role and ties into teetering instead of the knowing and making that decision to do it anyway.
Right. And introducing the definition, am I afraid to talk to my mate? Am I afraid to talk to my kids? What is that about? And that all takes courage to say, of course not. I know what I'm doing, and keep feeding yourself the positive aspects of speaking up, giving your opinion, and that you are so valuable. Each one of us are so valuable and irreplaceable.
Yes. And then if you don't speak up, people don't really know who you are, and it just seems I don't know. I kind of teeter on that myself. Sometimes should I say, should I not say? And there's the indecision instead of just having the 3 seconds of courage to be like, it's not offensive to speak up. Like, why are you always in the wrong when you speak up, Instead of saying, okay, somebody gets to know who I am versus being quiet and going into the pleasing, which...
True, but, as children, we were taught not to interfere in a lot of situations.
Yeah, true.
Like church. Dad, if he's talking,
right,
a superior, whoever that might be. There's lots of them. Teachers. So we were taught to be quiet, and now we're saying all of those vibes that we stuffed, we need to bring out and say, but this life now requires a different kind of action.
It does.
And a relationship requires a different kind of action. Of course you have to tell the relationship person you're in with what you're about. And your children, you have to be able to share with them who you are and why you do things. And after if the why is gone, you just have to be able to expect them to do it, and they have to be okay with that.
Right.
That's what I mean. There's kind of a momentum that we're in first. We're in the caboose right now.
Yeah.
And we're moving forward to the next car, to the next car, to the next car, until we're the engine, where we know where we're going.
Yeah, until we're in the driver's seat. Yeah, but each one of those each train compartment requires another set of yourself, another set point of yourself to keep moving forward to get to driving the train, right?
Yes, exactly.
So like one of my things, I was always like a people pleaser. So then I didn't say certain things because I was too busy trying to make everyone happy, but not necessarily myself happy, which is a form of control, because then you can handle that situation. You feel like you're in control by not saying something because you don't want to upset the apple cart. And courage, even something as small as that, it takes courage to like say, you know what, I really don't agree with that, or no, I'm not good with doing that, or and that's
or
taken
just
a
saying,
long time.
here's how I would look at it, and don't even bring up disagreement. This is my look at it.
Right.
Which allows you to speak instead of, again, getting permission.
Yes. That permission has to go in the garbage. Like, that has to go off the train.
Right,
like
off
you
the
need
train.
Permission to be yourself. You have the right and the birthright to be yourself.
Yes.
Like, so.
And just use the key word courage. I'm going to practice courage.
Yes.
And whatever comes up, I want to have a feeling about it and an opinion about it. And it's my opinion, and I'm entitled.
Yes. You're entitled to your opinion.
Right.
Which most of the time we thought we should not have an opinion. And then it's as simple as, no, we get to have an opinion, and we get to share, and people get to know us. People get to understand how we think, And it's not about the agreement either. Because it was always, okay, you better agree or you're bad or something. I don't know. Kind of, I do know. Like, if you didn't agree, you were the black sheep. So it's just coming back to courage and saying that.
But that black sheep, that was portrayed in feelings, wasn't it? You knew what you said was not welcomed.
Yes.
And the feeling came over because you weren't corrected, but you were corrected with a vibe.
Yes.
And I think that's very seductive. It teaches us to step back, and we don't even know why.
Right.
But since this is a vibrational universe, we got the message loud and clear.
Yeah, be quiet.
Right, be quiet.
Sit down.
And, yeah, exactly.
Shut up.
Right.
So just breaking through those barriers or those false beliefs is where it's at, and having the courage to do that. Right? And sometimes it seems like really tough, but it doesn't have to be.
No.
Because if you're coming from your heart, right, and the feeling from your heart, then it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult, and you just need the 3 seconds of courage.
Yep. Yeah.
So the conscious awareness of keeping courage front and center.
Yep.
So,
courage is the key word, and that should tip you off enough when you want to speak to say, well, I've got something to say. And you can be cheerful, whatever you want, or you can be angry and still say it. It doesn't matter. What matters is you're honoring your feelings and you're honoring who you are, and you're able to just get it out.
Yeah. That's the key. Start, and it doesn't matter if you're rough around the edges. Just start sharing.
Oh, right.
And let it fall how it falls. And then you keep building that courage muscle, and then pretty soon it's just goes away pretty much, and you get to share who you are, and it doesn't really matter what anyone thinks.
Right.
You know, and it's coming from a good place most all the time, right? Like,
and courage is something that you're not saying, I disagree with you.
Yes.
You're just saying, I have a different idea on that. Because we don't want to encourage getting into a discussion of how you feel.
Yes, right.
Because
like
that
proving
is not what
points
we're talking about.
Or being right or wrong.
And like we can use
Yeah.
politicians. You know, they're battering back and forth. That's not what we're referring to at all.
Right.
You just say, well, this is how I feel, and that's it. And if they have something to say about that, there's no addressing it.
Yeah.
Do not defend yourself and do not apologize. You still get to say who you are and what you're about. That's the thing. It's just so much easier than what we think it is.
Yeah, it really is. We've defined it to death. You know what I mean? And put all these like labels on everything. Well, by the time you get to the 10th one, you lose momentum and your courage anyway, because you're so busy judging these 10
or defending yourself against the 10.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't realize it because it's like in the conversation, or it's in the event, or it's in just
let's
simple.
make it simple. Like your mate asks you to go somewhere for the weekend and you're not ready to go, you don't feel it, just say, I'll get back to you, and then go back with your courage.
Yes,
and
take the space.
Take the space
to
of
get
being
the clarity.
you, and then go forward and say, you know, honey, I was thinking about what you wanted to do this weekend, and I'm not up to it. It's just how I feel, and I would rather do it another time. That's courage. Instead of going and being miserable.
Yes.
And not yourself at all, which wears you to a frazzle.
You lose every ounce of energy. It never works out right. It's like...
Right, that's it. And then the same thing with your children, your friends. If you need a few seconds or a day or whatever, take the time, because that really embeds courage.
Yes.
And then you get to speak it. And when you figured out, no wonder I didn't answer. I'm not going to do this. I don't feel like it. Or it's just not the right time for me.
Yeah.
And we don't have to do all this talking and battering back and forth all the time.
Yeah. Less is better. It's
all
more
the time.
Empowering. You know, it's less defending, less negotiating, less everything. It's just like, it gets to be simple. It gets to be easy, and you just get to be you. That's it. I don't think there's any more to it than just staying consciously aware and be who you are and share from your heart.
What's next on our addressing courage?
A story that you had the courage to show up.
Okay. Or the workspace it took to show up.
There you go. That's a good one too, right? Yeah, when everything is going against you, or you think it is, right? Because it's really a perception that everything is against you.
And also a learned perception.
That you have the courage to just say, no, I'm going anyway. And I'm trusting myself.
Yes.
Yes.
I wanted to buy a business my whole life and be in my own business. And I got the opportunity to buy a business in the electronic industry. And the minute I went forth, all I got was stop signs. And I'm like, no, somebody here is going to support me. Someone is going to support me at the bank. Someone is going to support me in the bookkeeping here. Someone is going to support me in the presentation of how this has to work if I'm going to go ahead. I found all those people. And it was an amazing miracle, a step along the way. And as I had to go to the banks and present, that was probably the most challenging. And they said, many of them said no right off the bat. And I went, well, okay. But then I felt in my heart, you're just not the right one. But I didn't condemn myself for trying.
Yes.
So then when it came to the last week of closing the deal that I had to give the people that I was buying it from, I got a lead from a friend of mine who said, go here and talk to this woman at this bank. I did. She was thrilled. She thought it was a great idea. She was really proud. I'm telling you, I could have fainted right there on the floor. That was it. In fact, when I drove there, I was tearing up thinking, well, if this doesn't work, okay. But I tried, and I'm not going to apologize for that. Well, it was just the opposite. It was a miracle, and it all came to good, and it was perfect, and the business was purchased, and the business went wonderful for many years.
Yeah, and that was almost like the impossible back then, because it's been over 20 years, and a woman owning electronics distributorship was just even unheard of. Mm-hmm. So it was going against the grain the whole time.
But I couldn't go against my heart.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But your heart was like moving you forward, and the more each step of the way, the more courage you had to show up. Open the doorway to step another one, and you didn't get discouraged. You almost got more courage.
Well, you were building on your courage because you didn't have a no.
Yes.
But you didn't have a yes. But as long as I didn't have a no,
yes,
I kept building on that. Okay, I need to do this. I'll find the person. Mm-hmm. And always the people found me.
Yes. Right, because when you believe in yourself and you do what seems to be the impossible, because I'm sure there was a lot of mind chatter of stuff going on, but in your heart you really knew what to do and how to do it, and you just said, absolutely not, I'm doing this. And it has to work out. When you step into the courage, it always works out.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So what appeared to be impossible, if you would have been talking about it to everybody else and getting opinions,
which I wasn't.
Right. That's another whole video.
That's a whole nother video.
But you just kept going regardless, because in your heart you had the courage to show up and be you. And there's a different feeling in that, though, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, because it's a thrust.
Yeah.
It's a thrust once you decide. Mm-hmm. It's almost like somebody's behind your back, pushing you,
and you trust and you keep going.
But the thrust is pushing you into you.
Yes.
It's not asking me to do weird or strange things. It pushes me to the next stage, which is thrilling. Mm-hmm. So it all turned out wonderful.
Yeah, it really did. And it was successful, and it was in an industry that, there was very few women in. Mm-hmm. So just, breaking those fear barriers is really what you did, walking every day, taking action, and showing up in courage.
Yes.
That's so very cool.
One of my stories.
Yes, one of the stories.
Yes.
One of the many.
Yes.
So on that note, leave a comment below if you enjoyed this video, and just share it and like it, and leave comments or questions, and we'll see you soon.